Hi, it's so good to see you.
Hi, great to see you.
I know we've never had the pleasure of speaking before, but I'm really excited to discover your brand. I've seen some of the images from your first ready-to-wear collection, but can you tell me a little bit about the origin story of this collection and your brand itself? Because you're morphing a little bit from your original storyline, let's say.
Sure. It's interesting to say that we're morphing from our original storyline because I believe that it's really COVID that has allowed brands to just disrupt whatever rules are kind of given to us. So although we started out definitely as a bridal brand, I don't think I'm straying too much from that. I'm just saying, we're introducing color that can be for your wedding. It can be for something else. We just are beyond the wedding at this point. So these are beautiful gowns, and we kind of exist in this world of bridal for sure, but with very fuzzy boundaries. And I would say not really following the classic rules of what bridal traditionally is.
Yeah, I mean, when I was looking at the images from your collection, it is very much this, I don't know if it's the next gen offering of what a bridal could look like, where it doesn't read bridal, that it feels like it has more of a sustainability, longevity, because these are pieces that feel like they walk outside of that space and that they're beautiful outside of that context.
Absolutely. And this season specifically, we wanted to kind of push what is a bridal gown, right? Because is it just a beautiful gown that happens to be ivory? Because I don't really believe that. I think if you're a bridal label, the way you become successful is kind of understanding the recipe of what goes into a wedding dress. So it's what the women are at, what they're actually looking for, whether it's a high neck and open back or it's a bustier. There are these elements that I believe gowns have to have in order for them to be suitable for the bride. So when introducing this color, I still wanted to take those elements, but put them into new kind of gowns. So a bride still wants to cover her arms, let's say, and have an open back and bustier, which is a more difficult, structure to have an open back with a bustier, but in color, and it will still sell as a wedding gown, even though it's in color. I truly believe that. Mainly because, COVID disrupted weddings. And now I think the brides are like, I don't just have to wear white. I can do whatever I want. Whether it's everything is new. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of that comes from people having smaller civil ceremonies. So if they're having a reception, they may not be playing by the rules, and that will open up a whole other can of worms, because that'll set a trend, and then the trend will go on beyond this time period and post-COVID life. So it'll be interesting to see, but I truly believe that ivory is just not the only color that you can wear to your wedding. We certainly started that way for sure, but the more I was chatting with the clientele and seeing what people were doing, I could understand what it was that the woman wanted, and just fitting those elements into a new collection. And this collection's by far our strongest, I think, because we had the most information about our clients and what they really wanted. And color was certainly a part of that.
And then also, didn't you bring in an interesting, specific floral print? Am I right in thinking that? But something dramatic, a little bit different.
Yes, we took a flower and we manipulated it and we tucked it and we threw it on the bias, and we kind of experimented what this print could do without looking fully like a flower. We wanted to be a little bit abstract. It almost came out a little bit like snakeskin, but it's also a flower. I think it's really interesting. It's a new texture for us, again, like a new color palette, all just very exciting things. And we're doing a bit of a bit here and there, and we'll see kind of what sticks and what our clients react to, and we'll move forward with those directions.
Another way I felt that I was really both taken aback in how I reacted to the image, and then also, pleased to see, a woman of color, and then a woman, and a woman who's a little bit older than what you would expect a bride to be. And I I was like, why am I reacting this way? One-sided, yay, that this is happening on the other side of that. So tell me about your thought process. I know that they're both women that you personally really consider muses and have inspired you, but please.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted two women that looked entirely different from one another. Just, I thought that was important. Both of them I consider icons, and for us not showing for over a year, I really wanted to have the woman that I see in the gowns, not, somebody that I went through all these castings with and all of that. It was someone like, okay, who is the ideal woman for this gown, for this collection specifically? And we started at that point. And I thought that they paired really well together. Yeah. And you could see the chemistry between them too, on set and in the actual photos. And to me, it was just really important to have whatever it is that you have in your head of what a bridal collection should look like. Whatever that is, I want it to be the opposite. I want it to be different than that. So if that meant having, an iconic supermodel from the 90s and her kind of rocking this bridal gown, I thought that would be the best representation of what this collection is. And even on set, we were chatting with them, and I think that they didn't realize what they were walking into either when they signed up for the project, and were pleasantly surprised at what the product was. And that was cool to see as a designer, and also meeting the talent on set and being able to kind of walk people through what it is that they're seeing and coming across in the collection.
Yeah, no, the images are incredibly strong and very provocative. And like you said, it's been a year since you've, presented in this way,
yeah.
what's been going on. I know also that you, in the before times, you were came runner-up for the CFDA Vogue Fashion Fund Award. And I want to talk about what it's like to live in that space. Like, how does that work for you? What kind of helping hand do you get? Because everybody always talks about, that the one person, but I'm interested about how they're supporting you as well.
Yeah, that was a really cool and interesting experience for so many reasons. One, being the first bridal label, I felt that they understood why they were choosing me for this role. And I don't want to say I filled a void, but I think that they were like, wow, this person is disrupting the industry, and for whatever part of that industry is. And they could appreciate my point of view. The interesting thing that we're doing that's a little bit, different as far as emerging designers is we're not giving you something that you've never visually seen before. My product is not like this far out kind of product in which you're like, wow, I've never seen anything like that before. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is asking like a question, like, what is it that women really want to wear down the aisle? And I'm not saying that other bridal designers don't do that, because they certainly do. But, I think that I'm coming from a different perspective, in that I was trained in a certain way. I worked for Vera Wang for a while, who is the master of that art, was really able to learn what it is that needed, that makes up a wedding gown and what makes a bride. And that was really interesting to me. And I then kind of took my own point of view and implemented that into the industry. And I think that what I am doing is saying, okay, I think you can do something a little bit different. I'm going to give you a different perspective on what a bride can look like, or should look like, or wants to be. And the reaction has been positive. So I think it's just kind of rolling with what the reaction is, and kind of punching that up. Like we know the gowns that do really, really well for us. And I think it's just about making more of those, while also doing some pieces that are really different, I would say. And maybe there's only 3 customers ever who will purchase it, but it's really important to have those customers too.
Well, speaking of that, I feel like, I just saw, I think, a Vera piece on the, on the Screen Actors Guild Awards or whatever. So So we're talking red carpet. I mean, as much as it's the big day, you know, in everyone's life in terms of bridal, I would also say that's a lot of great red carpet options in when what you're, I mean, they're beautiful statement pieces. I think that, you
Yeah.
know, that's another area where I really feel that you would be very much at home in. Is that something that you would like to explore more? Like you are going to reach out to the stylists that are doing it?
It's funny. In the past, I've been hesitant to put our bridal gowns on the red carpet because I think from a client's perspective, they don't want to see their wedding dress on the red carpet. So for us this season, that is something that we're definitely going to explore, no question. And I think it'll expand the brand awareness, and that's what I'm looking forward to, is sort of seeing a new product that can live in a different space for us, because we've been so wedding focused. Now is definitely the opportunity to see what a red carpet gown could do for us as a business.
Yeah, no, there's one of the dresses that you have, or it's the kind of, and I'm sure I'm describing this wrong, but kind of almost like a pleated waist, and then it kind of expands out at the
Yeah,
shoulders.
yeah.
Like almost like wings across the you know, the chest, and it's a gorgeous piece. It's absolutely not something that I would ever expect to think of in a bridal, but as soon as I saw it, I would love to get married again in that dress. So
right, and even though it was blue and brown, right?
yeah, exactly. So you have a, you know, listen, when my 30th wedding anniversary comes up, I will be on. But it's just been a pleasure speaking with you. Congratulations
Thank
on the collection.
you.
It's really good, you know, incredibly well executed. Both the actual products themselves and also the way you're just telling your story, I think is really spot on and perfectly in time with the times that we're living in. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. It was great speaking with you.
You too. You have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.